torrid encounter between East and West. The Hawks of Hawthorn, proud and haughty, against the Eagles of the West Coast, brash young pretenders to the throne.
I think 91, we didn't really have a roadmap on how to prepare for a grand final, you know, and I think it was Mick's first grand final as coach. It was all quite new to us.
The Eagles start to run. They're going goal for goal at PFL Park. This is Pike, 60 metres out. Long bomb. Eddie is going back. Not required. It's a goal. What a grand final.
I always look back myself and just think, you know, it was 12-5 to 12-15 at three-quarter time, and I'm looking around going, right, we're in this. We're in this up to our necks. We can win this. And then 53 points later, we walked off with our tails between the legs, and I just saw these blokes went to another gear.
As the siren goes now and the Hawks win.
Hawthorn, it has to be said, were the better team when it counted in the finals. But the Eagles are still young and will have learned a lot from their bitter experience. It promises to be another great season in 1992.
It was all about how do we get better. That was sort of the focus for pre-season of 92. Having said that, because you have lost one, there's a fire burning in your guts already, and then Mick would sort of poke and prod you throughout the pre-season to get you up to that 100% to make sure that, you know, we're basically going to be bulletproof for the next season.
As the clock ticks down towards the siren, in fact, there it is. West Coast Eagles will be into the grand final. And what a superb performance it was.
Victoria will be defending its traditional AFL supremacy under threat for the second year running from Western Australia.
How do you think they'll take it when WA win? That is their pride and joy. Football has always lived in Victoria. You can feel and breathe football when you go over there. And to take it away from them would be like taking a dummy away from a little baby.
West Coast f***ers, will someone hit Langdon?
What do you think about the Vicks? Now, despite what you might have heard in this story, West Australians do have considerable sympathy for Victorians. A tattered economy, political upheavals, not to mention all that rain. Now, of course, the last thing they need is to lose perhaps Australia's most valuable sporting trophy to a mob from the West.
Going into 92, we'd been there and done that, and I just think it made life a hell of a lot easier. It gave us that belief that we could win the game.
Here in Perth, the West Coast Eagles are treated like heroes, but across the country in Melbourne, it's a different story.
The Eagles, can't stand them.
I hate the Eagles.
If they won the grand final, oh, geez, it'd be hard to take.
I'd never go to another football game in my life.
That's disgusting. This is the home of football.
If you West Australians think the Eagle has already landed, you've got a lot of convincing to do down Geelong way.
If they think they've got already, that's their bad luck. And I hope Ablett kills them.
Both the West Coast and Geelong are sick and tired of the contest being billed as a Victoria-WA clash.
It's not state versus state. It's club versus club.
This game is not just club against club, it's an interstate war. Geelong is carrying Victoria's hopes that the Premiership Cup doesn't cross the Nullarbor.
Well, it is an Australian competition. It has been for some years now, and inevitably it will happen. This is the year.
In 95 years, the Premiership pennant has never left Victoria. In just a few short hours, history might be made. From Perth on Australia's west coast, the Eagles have arrived for their second successive tilt at glory. They are the favourites, a tough, match-hardened combination in just their sixth season in league football.
Well, there are many thousands of people who have made the trek from Western Australia to Victoria for this momentous occasion. It's their first grand final, remember, at the MCG for the club. They were at Waverley Park last year.
We see the Eagles about to come out in the ground any moment. It'll be interesting, Bruce, to get the crowd reaction to the Eagles.
92 was, we felt like, and even when we ran out, it wasn't just 22, it was almost like 22,000, you know, with the extra support, the fans in their green hats. We just knew we weren't alone like we were in 91.
The 92 grand final is underway. Will this be the first goal of the grand final? Poole, deliberately. It's good. Stoned him towards goal with the left foot. There's another one.
Geelong got the jump on us. They were up and running, and I thought we had a few chances early to kick some goals and missed. So as the game went on and closer into the second half, everybody kicked a few goals.
Taken now by Evans. From 45 metres out, it's another goal.
Sending us into half-time just gave us a bit of momentum.
There was a 5-minute sort of patch before half-time where Geelong have thrown the kitchen sink at us, and now this is us denying them the football.
Fisted away by McIntosh. Scott is there.
McIntosh does very, very well to beat a couple of them. Pike can't shrug the tackle, gets caught, Pryor ball goes unheeded, and the Eagles somehow are out of trouble through McKenna.
That was the thing about, the highly offensive Geelong team versus the defensive, and as simple as Mick used to put it, if we deny them access to the ball, we deny them the scoreboard.
Did nicely, the look-away handball.
We've sort of hurt them back on the scoreboard. We were 4 goals down, we go into half-time 2 goals down, and that was sort of the moment I thought, we're back in this.
And what is second half is in prospect. The West Coast Eagles, marginal favourites coming in, but the Geelong Cats are standing tall at the present time.
It's hot in the kitchen, and they all know it.
That third quarter, we controlled the game.
So the Eagles have dominated this term.
Marvellous term by the West Coast Eagles. Will it be a premiership winning term? Time will tell.
But the Eagles are set up for their first leg. At three-quarter time, they lead 11-15.
Probably going into the three-quarter time huddle, I think there was a little bit of confidence amongst the group that would go all right.
So here we go. It's all come down to this. A year's work. Look at the tackling by the Eagles. They've been superb all day. Chris Manning stats to Lewis. Yes.
Terrific in the third term to the boys. He honoured the boys. McKenna provided it.
It's a game of possession now with only seconds remaining. The Eagles are going to win their first leg.
The siren goes and you're caught up in the hysterics of a grand final and a win.
It's truly a national competition now. Only since 1987, the success has come very quickly.
Yeah, it has. I mean, in the Australian Football League, that's what it is now. And I suppose today's a true test of a national competition.
It was a lot of relief for the boys and for the club from where they'd come from. It was a hell of a lot different from the year before. Probably just to see the boys' face on the oval and then getting presented with the medal and with the cup and then doing a lap was pretty good. Well, real good actually. And then obviously the following couple of days when we had the celebrations and coming home and all that sort of stuff, it sort of really started to kick in. Now, when we flew back, we were treated like gods, actually, so it was an interesting time.
The players flew back to the West this morning, taking with them the AFL trophy. Thousands of fans gathered at Eagles headquarters to greet the team.
Captain John Worsfold had a firm grip on the AFL Cup the moment the plane crossed the WA border. Football history at 35,000 feet. The joy was overwhelming when the Eagles had landed, for a welcome befitting a state flushed with pride.
Just the line of people from the airport back to Subiaco, it was just phenomenal. And then for us to see that and the impact it must have had on our community, it certainly brought a tear to a glass eye, as they would say. And yeah, it was just too good to be true almost.
About 4 days later, I'd seen a clip of grand final day and what the streets were like in Perth, so the whole place has stood still for the game.
Thousands packed into Subiaco Oval for the greatest homecoming the Eagles have ever known.
And the city is alive, and that means a lot to Western Australia.
That 92 side and the year, the entire team that we had, we were maybe a bit of a ray of hope that interstate sides could play good footy and win a grand final. And I think the key to that year was that we all appreciated each other and we all knew what was expected of each other.
Here we are as an interstate club, a Western Australian team, obviously, in the national competition. We're the very first to take the cup out of Victoria. No one will ever be able to take that away, whether, Port or Adelaide, Sydney, Fremantle, Brisbane, Gold Coast, all that. There'll only be one club that has taken the cup out of Victoria first, and that was West Coast. I'm certainly proud to be a player and a part of that team for sure.